Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Rebecca and on this channel I'll go for all things accounting, finance, Excel and investment related. So if you like this kind of stuff then please do consider subscribing, and otherwise let's get straight into the video. So in today's video I'm going to explain to you, hopefully in a little bit of detail, what a balance sheet is and the things that you might find on a balance sheet, and just break down a little bit of that terminology for you so you can understand exactly what we mean by a balance sheet in the first place and the things that you're going to find on there. So first of all, what is a balance sheet? So a balance sheet, which is also referred to as the statement of financial position, is just a snapshot of a company at a particular point in time. So that might be quarterly, it might be monthly, it might be annually, so yearly, depending on when they're reporting on their results. But it basically allows an investor or a shareholder or anybody interested in that set of financial statements or accounts the ability to look at that company and really see what's happening within that company. So from a balance sheet you can find out the likes of any assets the company holds, any liabilities that it's holding as well, and the likes of equity, so shares, etc., retained earnings that the company has, any profit or loss that they've made in the period you can also see from the balance sheet. So it's a really useful point in a set of accounts if you're looking to invest in a particular company or just find out more about a particular company. So if we start with assets at the top, there are two types of assets that we can have. So we can have what we call tangible assets or intangible assets. So tangible assets are things that you can physically touch. So like this camera, I can physically touch that. Or it could be the likes of plant and machinery, it could be land and buildings, it could be vehicles that you own. So if you can physically touch that asset, then it'll be labelled as a tangible asset. And we can have those either short term or long term on the balance sheet. So if they're short term, we call them current assets because we're expecting to hold them for a period of 12 months or less. Whereas if they are non-current, then it means that we're going to hold them for 12 months or more. And you'll see current and non-current assets and liabilities on a balance sheet. So we'll go into that with the liability section a little bit later on. But looking at assets, if you're looking at an intangible asset, then it's things like goodwill. So when you've purchased a company, or it might be a customer listing where you've taken over a company and purchased that company's customers as part of the acquisition, or it could be the likes of a brand purchase, for example. So under this non-current assets label up here, these are things that we are depreciating or amortizing on the balance sheet, so slowly reducing the carrying value of those assets to spread the cost of those assets over their useful life. So moving on, if we have a look at current assets next. So when we look at current assets, you'll see here that we're listing these in terms of liquidity. So when you hear the term liquidity, what we're looking at is how easily those particular assets are to convert into cash. So how quickly can we do that? So cash is going to be the most liquidable, can't speak English, because it's cash. Whereas stock might be a little bit more difficult to turn back into cash, which is also the same with the likes of prepayments and trade debtors, for instance. So if we have a look at the first item here, we can see that we've got stock. So stock is inventory, so items that you're holding with the hope to sell in effect. So it could be the likes of t-shirts if they're a t-shirt manufacturing company, for example. Next we've got debtors. So you might see this labelled as debtors or even trade debtors or even trade receivables on the balance sheet, but all that is just amounts owed from customers to the company. So within a company you're going to have customers that pay for goods via cash, or you might have individuals that pay on credit terms, so they might buy an item from you but only pay for that 30 days later, for example. So if you've got a trade debtor balance, it's just showing customers that haven't yet paid for an invoice, for example, or paid for goods at that particular point in time. So it's an asset because it's money owed due to the company. Next we have prepayments. So a prepayment is where basically a company's received an invoice, for example, and say if it's for electricity and we're looking at June, so we're reporting on a June month end, but that electricity invoice is for June, July and August, then they've prepaid July and August. So they will take those costs out of the profit and loss account and stick them on the balance sheet. So it's just items that you've prepaid in advance that sit on the balance sheet, and as the months go by they'll then be released back onto the profit and loss account. In short, I hope I've not lost you. Next, again, we might have what we label either cash at bank or cash in hand. So the difference between the two of those is that cash at bank is as simple as is stated. So it's money that you've got sat in your bank, whereas cash in hand is money that a company is currently physically holding. So it could be money that's in a cash flow, cash tin, or money that they keep on premises. So if they are, for example, a store selling consumables, so everyday goods like sugar, tea, coffee, that sort of thing, then they're going to have a cash till with money that they've got in there or cash collected for the day. So when you're looking at the balance sheet at that particular point in time, that'll be the money that they have physically. Next, let's have a look at current liabilities. So current liabilities, as we said before, are liabilities that are due in less than 12 months. So they're current because they're due in less than 12 months. So this might be the likes of accruals, it could be trade payables due in less than 12 months, it could be, again, VAT owed to HMRC, it could be corporation tax owed, for example, or it could even be just accruals. So if we have a look at trade creditors, otherwise known as trade payables or just payables, all that is just where you've got an invoice that you've received from a supplier, but you've not yet paid for that invoice. So basically just amounts due to suppliers at that given time when you're looking at the balance sheet. So they will be paid in due course, so within 12 months, but they are currently owed at that time that you're looking at the balance sheet. Next, we might have a bank overdraft. So if you have a bank overdraft or you're currently within that bank overdraft at the bank, then it means that obviously you owe that money to the bank. So that's why it's listed under current liabilities, because usually a bank overdraft is due quite quickly. They can call upon you to pay that back with very little notice. So that's why it's labelled under, again, current liabilities. So amounts owed to the bank for you going into that overdraft. So with VAT, if you're registered for VAT, you have applied VAT to your sales to customers, and then you have claimed back your VAT on purchases through your VAT return, then you might have an instance where actually the amount of sales that you've made and the VAT applied there far outweighs the purchase VAT that you can reclaim back. So in that case, there is VAT that's owed to HMRC, so that might be sat again as a current liability because that's expected to be paid within a set period due to HMRC, which is definitely less than 12 months. Now, accruals, all accruals are amounts that basically you know you're going to have to pay, but you haven't yet received an invoice for. So it's not stuff that's sat on the trade creditors account currently. It's items like the likes of, again, gas, telephone bills, that sort of thing that you know full well that you're going to get an invoice for within 12 months, but you're going to put that onto accruals because you know it's due. But again, it is a liability at that given snapshot in time. It's just that you haven't yet received that physical invoice to pay. So you're making a provision, so an estimate of how much you expect you're going to owe out of the company at that given time. So that's all an accrual is. So it's just something that you've used in effect that you haven't yet paid for. And if we look a little bit further down here, we can see we've got some long-term liabilities. So long-term liabilities might be the likes of a loan that are due more than 12 months again. You might even have accruals that are due more than 12 months, or even, again, trade payables that are due in more than 12 months in some instances. But all of those will just sit under long-term liabilities or non-current liabilities. So those that are due, again, more than 12 months. So next we've got our net assets, which is just the total of all of our assets less all of our liabilities. And then we've got capital and reserves. So capital and reserves are nothing to get worked up about at all. So if it's the first time that you've heard this phrase, it's really simple. It's just where you've got your shares in your company. So where individuals have purchased shares within the company for a set value. So you might see that the nominal value of those shares is £1. So they've spent £1 to buy one share in that company. So if there's 100 shares and they're worth £1, then you're going to have £100 worth of called up share capital on the balance sheet or statement of financial position. Next, we might have something called profit and loss account or retained earnings. So all this line is any retained earnings or profit or loss brought forward from the prior period, plus any profit or less any loss that you've made in this period. So the total of those two together equals your retained earnings, which is sometimes called as just the profit or loss on a balance sheet. And it's as simple as that. So I hope you found this video useful. If you've got any questions about the balance sheet, then please put those in the comment section below and I'll do my very best to get to them. But otherwise, consider subscribing and I shall see you on the next video.